Okay, so we're going to talk about dog introductions today, and it's something that we do every day here at the shelter, so it's probably relevant. But I'm going to actually start off with a piece of video from a trail walk, and you get to see Sophie. Remember Sophie? You get to see her in action. Sorry about the quality. So you can see Sophie's right in there. She's just met the other dog. That's Sophie. I will only be introduced to you for a very brief period of time, and then you have to go away. We call that, I mean, that really is the bitch bite. It really is. It's like, I will go, you know, you've met me for long enough, and go away now. And females do that more than males. So, this is a silly question. Why should dogs meet? If every single person who comes to class, every single person that wants to adopt a dog, they all want their dog to be able to meet other dogs. And I mean, for a variety of different reasons, but they all want they all want their dog to meet the other dogs, and they all want them to meet them happily. And it's very difficult for people to understand that dogs don't always like other dogs. They don't like all other dogs. They might like some other dogs. They might not like any other dogs, but there's no real reason why they have to like dogs. If we'd wanted them to play with dogs all the time, then we probably should never have separated them from their siblings. And that way they would play with dogs, but they wouldn't play with us. So, you know, that's the problem. But here at the shelter, people want their dogs to meet other dogs because they want to acquire another dog, because they want to have maybe 2 or 3 dogs in the family, or maybe they go to the dog park every day, or maybe they've got relatives or friends who have dogs and they want to go for walks. There's a wide variety of reasons. There are very few people who don't want their dogs to meet other dogs. I remember one dog a long time ago. She was a border collie mix, and she didn't like other dogs and she didn't like children. But the pet pals loved her. So we kept her up for adoption. And then when come time to actually interview the people about, you know, this dog doesn't like, I said, this dog doesn't like children. She said, well, we don't either. And the dog doesn't like other dogs. Oh, we don't either. So they lived on the ranch. That was it. So, you know, and that was it. So most people seem to believe that everybody understands dogs. Anybody notice that? That's like, oh yeah, you know, all the people who come in to adopt, they had a dog when they were a child, and so they understand what dogs are like. They understand dog body language. We do get some people who say they don't understand it. I had a client, this was a private client up here, but they have a Cane Corso who is very shy, and a Cane Corso is a fighting dog. It's a form of Mastiff. And the dog is very shy, and so they want to get another dog who's quite social, so they've been coming here trying to adopt another dog. And it took me about an hour to convince one of the members of the family, the father actually, that he doesn't talk dog, because he thought he did. And now he accepts the fact that he doesn't, and so he's actually allowing us to help him choose a dog, which is really good. Most people do tend to also believe that all dogs are friendly except certain breeds. And they will accept the certain breeds. They'll go, oh yeah, all dogs are friendly except pit bulls. Or all dogs are friendly except Rottweilers. Or, you know, if I have a golden retriever, it's always friendly. And if anybody's ever had an aggressive golden retriever, they are not always friendly. Some of them are very unfriendly. But that's another expectation. And most of the time what we do in our business here is we talk people out of their expectations and into something else. That's one of the things that we do. This is the other thing that I find is true not only of other people, but also of me, that we sometimes don't believe that a dog is going to be either good or bad with other dogs until we actually see it. And certainly members of the public, when they want to get a dog, they don't believe that the dog is actually going to be a bad dog with other dogs. So here's a really good example. We had a Rottweiler up for adoption, and somebody wanted to adopt this dog. This is very recent. The person had another dog that they adopted from us. It was a Rottweiler cross. This was a problem too, because when we had adopted this dog out, we weren't sure whether that dog was actually friendly, but it turned out that the dog was fine and everything was cool. So he wanted to adopt the current Rottweiler, and we spent about 4 or 5 hours trying to talk him out of it. Because what we thought would happen would be the two dogs would be kind of okay. His dog, his resident dog, didn't really like the new Rottie, but he would kind of just, you know, handle it here at the shelter. And after a while, after a long, long time, they actually did begin to play just a little bit, so it was a little bit okay. Anyway, in the end, we said, okay, take the dog home, but you're going to bring him back, and guess what? They brought him back the next day. Because as soon as they got the dog in the house, then I guess our Rottweiler sat on his Rottweiler. His Rottweiler didn't like to be sat on very much, and so they had a fight. And then his 90-year-old father said maybe that was a little bit too much dog, which is quite possibly true. So a lot of times we have to do dog intros here at the shelter, even though we know it's not going to work out, because we're looking at it and eyeballing it, and we go, yeah, not such a good idea. But because they want to do it, we end up doing it. And since our philosophy now is we will try to fulfill your needs as much as possible, we do not like to say no to people. That means that we end up doing things that we know aren't going to work out very well. There are a lot of differences in greetings. Age differences are pretty important. Puppies are often very curious, but they're also often very intimidated by larger, older dogs. So they're not usually a problem when they're meeting another dog. They may be a problem if they're meeting a puppy, because as soon as the other dog is the same size, if they have a tendency to be bold, dominant, or overly assertive, they will do that with a puppy. But they don't usually do it with another dog. Sometimes they do. A lot more puppies are shy, and so it takes 2 or 3 meetings for them to actually warm up and be okay with the other dog. Adolescents tend to be very enthusiastic, especially adolescents who have gone to dog parks or who have played hard with other dogs and have never really received any kind of training in inhibiting their own behavior. And you know, adolescents, they always think they know best anyway, whether they're canine or human. So, you know, they're going to screw things up a lot. So older dogs, they learn from experience. They can be anything from cool, calm, and collected to fearful and aggressive to really selective about who they like to, you know, they're all very different. And just because one dog likes this dog doesn't mean that dog is going to like another dog. It doesn't necessarily happen. Take Strider, for instance. Strider can meet almost any dog without a problem, but there are some dogs he doesn't like. He doesn't really like golden retrievers, and he doesn't really like huskies very much. So if we try to have them meet on leash, he's not exactly great. So, you know, but with every other kind of dog, he's fine. Obviously, with an intact male pit bull, he's just great. he just thinks he's just wonderful. That was our intro that we did today. So we're going to look at a couple of successful off-leash greetings. Actually, I'm going to play you a little bit of musical stuff, and I want you to really watch the greetings in this. And then we're going to do some adolescence meeting and not being as successful and stuff like that. This is just on-trail meetings. These are the things that dogs would do if you let them be themselves. Okay, I forgot. I'm going to do things to notice. Most greetings follow a slight pause on the part of one or both dogs. So you notice that. Though they may start out going very quickly, at least one of the dogs will tend to slow down or stop as they approach each other. So you will see this pretty much every time. These are good greetings, remember.